Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I'm your host, Ilham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in Gülistan Palace for the 230 megawatt Qabarıq solar power plant to be built in Azerbaijan by Mastar Company of the United Arab Emirates. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham received members of the Azerbaijani team participating in the 7th U23 European Wrestling Championship, which was held in Bulgaria. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in Gülistan Palace for the 230 megawatt Qabarıq solar power plant to be built in Azerbaijan by Mastar Company of the United Arab Emirates. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham attended the ceremony.
Hörmətli xanımlar və cənablar, hörmətli qonaqlar.
Calling today a significant day in the energy sector of the country, President Ilham Aliyev congratulated all who gathered and the entire Azerbaijani people and noted that this 230 megawatt substation will both satisfy the growing energy needs of the Republic and expand the export opportunities. Expressing satisfaction with the fact that the well-known company Masdar, having rich experience in this area, is the executive of this major project, the head of state also called it an indicator of the investment attractiveness of Azerbaijan as a reliable partner, stressing that investment in the Nile oil sector was one of our priorities. Focusing on the export potential and prospects of our country in the field of electricity, President Ilham Aliyev noted that the high level of bilateral relations with the United Arab Emirates, represented by the Mastar Company, recalled that in January, together with the famous aqua power company from Saudi Arabia, the foundation had been laid for a wind farm with a capacity of 240 megawatts, touched on other projects being implemented in the field of electricity, expressed confidence that next year this additional generating capacities will be included in our common system, and this was just the beginning. Touching upon the significant potential of Azerbaijan in the field of renewable energy, the other noted that this is why the world's leading energy companies are now very interested in cooperation with our country in this area, and expressed confidence that new projects would be launched in the near future. Noting that the territories liberated from the occupation had great potential, the other said that the exact calculations already made show that the production of solar and wind energy can reach about 9-10,000 megawatts. Steps were taken, negotiations were underway with BP on the construction of solar power plant with a capacity of more than 200 megawatts. Expressing confidence in successful negotiations, President Ilham Aliyev noted that other large companies are also showing interest in the region. Focusing on the large-scale destruction and consequences of the Armenian vandalism over 30 years of occupation, the other state stressed that more than 30 hydroelectric power plants had been destroyed in the Kəlbəcər and Laçın regions alone. Speaking about the large-scale work being carried out in the liberated territories, President Ilham Aliyev cited specific figures and noted the great potential for creating solar and wind power plants. Touching upon foreign markets that are outside our borders and in Europe, the presence of great demand, growing domestic demand, President Ilham Aliyev noted the country's population that had increased over the years of independence, our growing industry and economy, and named specific data. All the success had been achieved in the post-pandemic period, the other said, stressing that Azerbaijan was one of the countries with a very low external public debt, only $7.4 billion US. If we want, we can repay this debt within one day, President Ilham Aliyev said, noting the great interest of international financial institutions, large companies and investors in Azerbaijan, stressing that our policy is to ensure the further rapid and sustainable development of Azerbaijan, first of all in the restoration of liberated lands. The other said that this is an axiom. No country can develop without electricity, adding that Azerbaijan had reached oil deposits and gas, and they are successfully operated and developed. Speaking about the presence of modern transport, communications and energy infrastructure that connect us with export markets, about strong political will, President Ilham Aliyev noted close partnerships with almost all countries of the world, one of which is the United Arab Emirates. President Ilham Aliyev wished success to the construction of the station and expressed gratitude to the Mastar Company for the trust shown in Azerbaijan and the planned large investments. He expressed confidence that we would celebrate the opening of the station in Qabarıq together in the near future. Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of the United Arab Emirates, Suhail Al-Mazrui, noted that this country was a close friend of Azerbaijan, and today the ties between the two countries were becoming even stronger, stressed that it was a great honor for them to interact with our country, expressed gratitude to President Ilham Aliyev and the Azerbaijani state for the trust placed in the master company in the United Arab Emirates in the implementation of the project, noting that this company operates in more than 30 countries and their goal is to apply solar energy technologies in many states. The minister said that the two countries had similar goals to increase renewable energy capacities by up to 30% by 2030, informing that his country and Masdar intend to continue direct investment and support to Azerbaijan in the implementation of a broad clean energy agenda. The guest noted that they will explore opportunities to further strengthen the partnership, expressing gratitude for the strategic position and the plan set by the head of Azerbaijani state. Suhail Al-Mazroui said that by joint efforts we will continue to implement projects related to clean energy to build an even greener and more sustainable future. During the ceremony, a video on the ongoing work in Azerbaijan in the field of renewable energy was demonstrated. Then, President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev and Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of the United Arab Emirates Suhail Al-Mazroui laid the foundation of the station. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev received a delegation led by Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of the United Arab Emirates Suhail Al-Mazroui.
Once again, welcome, Mr. Minister and members of the delegation. We are really glad to see you. Thank you for finding time to attend this important ceremony. Hopefully, next year we will have another one, already commemorating the beginning of the functioning of the station, and it's a really big important event because it's the first solar plant of this scale to be built in Azerbaijan, and it's going to be built by one of the leading companies in this area. And as I said in my remarks, the company from a friendly country. This is very important, and I think it's only the beginning of our cooperation. I'm sure we'll find and explore a lot of opportunities in the area of renewable energy, as we did in other areas, and seeing good results in trade, of course, in political contacts, and very sincere relationship between the leadership of two countries. I'm sure in the renewable area we'll achieve success. And I think we can even look at a broader picture, taking into account the current situation on the world's energy market. Of course, we have excellent cooperation in the OPEC Plus format. And I think to look broader at the potential investment, joint activity in this area to maximum achieve our goals. So I, once again, welcome you and wish you a pleasant stay in Baku.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and it's a great pleasure to be back to Baku. Every time I come, Your Excellency, Baku is more advanced, and under your wise leadership, Azerbaijan have become truly a tourist attraction, but as well an attraction for foreign direct investments. Your Excellency, we would like to assure you of our commitment as UAE and as Masdar in the support of your strategy for renewable energy. We are also keen on involving in other projects, as I discussed with His Excellency, gas, for example. Looking at the situation today, more gas can be sent to Europe from Azerbaijan to diversify the sources. Also hydrogen, using the pipeline, gas pipeline. In the future, hydrogen can be a form of green energy that Azerbaijan can export.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev received members of the Azerbaijani team participating in the 7th U23 European Wrestling Championship, which was held in Bulgaria. Recalling the successful performance of our young wrestlers at the recent European Wrestling Championship in Bulgaria, where they won 16 medals, 7 of which were gold, with Azerbaijani team claiming the first place among the teams, a great achievement, the head of state said that to become the first in Europe in the face of growing competition and emerging of strong athletes is great success. Congratulating the athletes, their coaches and the Wrestling Federation, President İlham said that wrestling is our national sport and our wrestlers have always decently represented Azerbaijan in various competitions. We have many Olympic champions, world and European champions. Wrestling traditions in Azerbaijan are quite strong, and it is gratifying that now the younger generation continues these traditions, the head of state said, stressing that we were the first among youth in Europe at the championship with the participation of 34 countries. President İlham expressed hope that our athletes will continue to represent decently our country. Noting that the recent processes in the Wrestling Federation caused concern and stagnation was felt, the mechanism for managing the federation was weakened. President İlham said that this also had a negative impact on the results, so there was a need to change the leadership of the Wrestling Federation, and this happened. The head of state expressed confidence that the federation will eliminate all the shortcomings, analyze the situation, and this work had already begun and appropriate conditions will be created for all athletes. Recalling that after the election of the president of the National Olympic Committee, he set the task of creating conditions for athletes in order to achieve the results from them, the head of state said that these two main factors form the basis of our great success. Expressed confidence that the Wrestling Federation and the Ministry of Sports, together with the coaches, would take correct steps and assess the current victory as the first indicator of the work done. At meetings with the sports community, I have repeatedly said that sport is our state policy and sport dismantles the strengths of each country, President İlham said, adding that the ratings of countries in the Olympic Games show that representatives of developed countries usually achieve the greatest success. Touching upon the need to maintain leadership in the sports field, the head of state recalled the very good attitude of international sports organizations towards Azerbaijan, and as evidence of this cited two world-class events held in our country, the European Games and the Islamic Solidarity Games. Focusing on close cooperation with international sports organizations, the International Olympic Committee, the European Olympic Committees and international federations, which contributes to the proper implementation of sports policy in Azerbaijan, President İlham noted that sporting events in the country should become regular. Recalling the high appreciation of the major competitions organized in Azerbaijan, the other said that we have created all these conditions so that athletes always glorify our state and so that sports become widespread. This is one of the tasks that I set before the Minister of Youth and Sports, the new leadership to ensure the mass character of sports and use the existing infrastructure in all regions, said President İlham, emphasizing the need to properly select talented children and involve them in sports sections. Stressing that the example of our famous athletes, Olympic champions, world champions, European champions should also be a stimulus for young people, President İlham said that they should also strive to be like our famous athletes, expressing satisfaction that the sport community of Azerbaijan and our athletes, the vast majority of them are also an example in life, and so it should be. Positively evaluating the prospects for wrestling, the head of state expressed confidence that in the coming years we would succeed at the Olympic Games. There would be quite a lot of world championships. Noting that today the athletes represent the winning country, President İlham stressed that by participating as an independent country in major sports competitions, we acted as a country with occupied territories. We had to prove that we have strengths and the will and skill and strengths that we have demonstrated in the international sports arena will also be shown on the battlefield. The head of state noted that the sports factor plays a very important role in the patriotic education of the people and youth, stressed that it was these patriotic feelings, love, devotion to the motherland that played the main role in the patriotic war, adding that we have a strong army, equipment, weapons and ammunition, but it was the selflessness, devotion of the soldiers to the motherland that determined our victory. For almost 30 years we've been performing on international arenas, both at sports and political arenas as a country which suffered defeat, said President İlham, and emphasized that we must know this and tell the truth as it is. The other side noted the reasons for this defeat, the betrayal of the then anti-national government, the absence of the army, the assistance to Armenia from foreign states, the factors that led to the defeat. But the truth was that our lands were occupied and we had to prove that we would liberate our lands from invaders at any cost, and so we did, said President İlham, and stressed that the successes achieved, including in the sports, raising of our flag, the performance of the anthem further strengthened the feelings of patriotism, showing each of us if we can defeat athletes representing the enemy at sports competitions, then we will definitely win on the battlefield. Stressing that today they represent another Azerbaijan, they are representatives of the victorious people, the head of state expressed confidence that this feeling should be in their hearts when entering the arena. Today, not only citizens of Azerbaijan, but also Azerbaijanis all over the world feel confident in the countries where they live. They proudly tell the truth about Azerbaijan, about the Second Karabakh War, said President İlham Aliyev, stressing that elders, coaches, sports specialists see how much the attitude towards Azerbaijan had changed because we represent a victorious country, a victorious people. The other said that we fought a war with dignity according to all the laws of war. We did not fight against the civilian population. We did not bomb the houses. We did not commit atrocities. However, in the hearts of our people, there's always been a sense of revenge, stressed President İlham Aliyev, because the Armenians committed genocide against us. Policy of ethnic cleansing was carried out, and there should have been a sense of revenge. But I said that we will take revenge on the enemy on the battlefield, said the head of state, and stressed that the whole world, all military experts, have repeatedly noted that Azerbaijan waged this war with great professionalism and skill, achieved what it wanted in a short time, fought the war with dignity, observing all its laws. That is why the losses among the civilian population on the enemy side amounted to less than 30 people. This is because these civilians were involved in the fighting, stressing that in many parts of the world there were and are now going on and unfortunately will be wars. The head of state said that if attention is paid to these wars, then both the Azerbaijani people and the entire world community will see the greatness of the Azerbaijani people and responsibility of the leadership of Azerbaijan, noting that this is an additional incentive for our athletes because we represent a worthy people in a country that deserves great respect. President İlham Aliyev added that athletes and the generations to come after them will always represent a victorious country because our victory is eternal. We are the people who liberated Karabakh from the enemy, the people who created life on this land, said the head of state. President İlham Aliyev also spoke about the need to create a sports infrastructure in the territories liberated from the occupation, noting that the relevant sports facilities are provided for in the master plans of all cities in the liberated lands. Federations, the Ministry of Youth and Sports should already submit projects because the master plan of cities provide for the placement of sport facilities, the head of state stressed.
Bir sözlə, əziz dostlar, uşaqlar, məşqçilər, mütəxəssislər, bir daha sizi təbrik edirəm. Sizə yeni uğurlar, yeni qələbələr arzulayıram.
Thanking for the meeting, the head coach of the Azerbaijani freestyle wrestling team, Namik Abdullayev, noted that they always feel the attention and care of the head of state to sports. He informed about the awards won, emphasizing that in the team event, our athletes became European champions for the first time, and this is a record result in the history of freestyle wrestling in Azerbaijan. The head coach also noted that in November this year, Azerbaijan will host the World Cup in Greco-Roman wrestling, emphasizing that bigger competitions await our athletes. Namik Abdullayev said that this meeting would be a great stimulus for them, and the athletes would do their best to please the head of state and our people. President of the Wrestling Federation, Mikhail Japarov, stressed that the valuable recommendation of the head of state in connection with the ongoing work in the Wrestling Federation served as the basis for them. We promise that all our athletes and coaches will do their best to adequately represent our flag in the future, and we will provide the necessary support, said Mikhail Japarov. That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.